Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining my channel, The Grove with Audra. I am Audra. I have created this channel as a place to explore life experiences, especially the experiences where we have some pretty heavy trials and tribulations, perhaps even some mental health issues that ensue from it. And then we explore tools on how to overcome certain challenges in our life. And so again, I thank you for joining. My name is Audra. This is a very safe place. And I ask that it's, a judge-free zone as well. And if you guys would like to reach out, my channel does have my contact information. So if you request certain topics or content, I will do my best to adhere to that. So once again, thank you for joining. Today's topic is going to be on radical acceptance. That term means that you are accepting a situation that's outside of your control, but it does not mean that you agree with it, approve of it, etc. And a lot of folks, when they're going through something pretty hard that's weighing them down, tend to forget about accepting the situation, and they want to have control over the situation. They want to control the other person, maybe that's created the situation at hand, and it just provides a lot of chaos and just like really bad, heavy energy. Whereas if you accept the situation for what it is, you can clear your mind, bring some peace to your mind, and have a better ability to problem solve and to be able to move forward in the future versus what's happened in the past. So I actually learned this tool because I was going through a very heavy time back in 2019. I had been for about 2 or 3 years really upset, sad. I was grieving a marriage, a family that could have been, because of some betrayal that was in the marriage and some infidelity. And I had a lot of images in my head popping around with him with other women when I actually saw the facts at hand. And so those images caused my brain and my mind to go mad, basically, at that moment in time. And it was a process that took a few years to face head on, no matter how hard it was. And a lot of tears were shed, but we will talk about some of that in some other videos. But for this example, we're going to go back to radical acceptance. So what happened is I was seeing a therapist at the time through Kaiser down in San Diego. And I was just carrying so much like rage and anger and sadness and grief and kind of like the why me type of thing, right? And it just carried on for a long time. Now, I know everybody goes through their processes, in different time frames. There's no set time frames, but I truly believe today, when I'm reflecting, because I'm over on, I've gone past the mountaintop and around and come out better on the other side. But I truly believe that I kind of allowed it to go on a little bit longer than I probably should have, looking back, but there's no regrets. Like, I took my time to process. So when you guys are going through things, take your time to process, but try to, implement certain tools that will help you accept the situation for what it is, bring peace and calm to your mind, and be able to keep pushing forward. So radical acceptance, I was seeing a therapist through Kaiser Psychiatry in San Diego. And here's the incident that happened, and then we'll talk about what happened afterwards. I was going through the drive-thru at my favorite Starbucks in Mission Valley, San Diego. And, I just carried so much weight 24/7 for years. And any small thing would just spike my emotions, and I would just aggressively like attack others. Not like viciously, but just like more aggressive than the way I'm speaking right now. So I'm sitting in the Starbucks drive-through line, and there's a parking lot there, and there's like 5 or 6 cars ahead of me that have already turned left, crossing over traffic to get into the drive-through, and I'm at the front of that line. There's about 4 or 5 cars behind me, and I need to turn left once the cars move forward. Well, what happened is another car came from the opposite direction past Chili's, and then decided to cut the whole line off. Me and the patrons behind me and then just cut in front of me and slid in behind the car right in the drive-thru. I was next in line. So what did I do? I put my car in park, put the e-lights on, got out of my car, went up to that vehicle, banged on the window, and I asked, what the heck are you doing? And the gentleman would not roll his window down, would not look at me, and it made me even more angry, like that he wasn't like receptive or didn't want to engage with me in my own chaos, right? Even though he was in the wrong. And so I just kept banging on the window, and I used a couple of curse words, and I was like, what are you doing? That's inconsiderate. Don't you see there's a line of cars behind you, including myself? And it just went on for a few minutes. I just kept spouting off some pretty harsh words, and my voice was, yelling, and it was inappropriate. And when I look back, I used to be embarrassed over it, but I have forgiven myself. But I didn't get any satisfaction from him, returning any verbiage or having an argument with me. So I was so upset. My blood was boiling. I came back in the car and just like cried and cried and cried over it. I called my daughter and I told her what happened, and she was, disappointed in me. I was disappointed in myself, but I had no way of coping or no way of knowing how to manage. So fast forward a little bit. I am in my next therapy session with my therapist through Kaiser, and she's like, we do have a class coming up. It's an 8-week course on radical acceptance. So I signed up for it. I went every Monday night for 8 weeks. They taught us how to use expressions. They taught us how to, basically, if you're smiling, if you actually smile, it automatically gives you a good feeling. It's like this energy. You're smiling, your lips kind of you're up a little bit, and there's so many things that they teach you in this class, but the reality is radical acceptance is you are accepting the reality of the situation without controlling it or wanting and needing to control it as much as inside you just want to control the situation, right? Or you want to control the other person that has created a situation that may be hurtful to you, that may make you cry, it may make you enraged, it may make you, whatever the case is. And if I haven't said the examples earlier, I apologize. This is my first content video, and I don't want to lose my train of thought and the setup and the camera. It was so dark in my house, so I'm in my backyard. But there are examples such as if you're in the grocery store and somebody cuts you off in line and you get frustrated, or you have a coworker and you guys have a disagreement and it becomes like an argument, and next thing you guys know, you're arguing so bad that it almost becomes a fist fight, or whatever the case is, and whoever started it, none of that really matters. Something happened. It likely is outside of your control, and it's caused you some grief of some sort. If you add fuel to the flame, it's just going to create a lot more chaos, a lot more confusion, a lot more negative energy, and a lot more enraged emotions. They kind of skyrocket, right? So I learned all this in radical acceptance. And again, the key issues here is when you accepted a situation for what it is, you are able to bring peace and calmness to your mind, to your body, to your soul. And then you can problem solve from there and move forward, not backwards. And so the next time I went through a Starbucks drive-thru, literally the next time after I had completed this whole 8-week session, I applied this tool. And it happened again, believe it or not. This is a true story. It happened again. I'm sitting at the front of the line to turn left into the drive-thru. There's 5 or 6 cars ahead of me. Somebody cuts me off coming from the opposite direction and just kind of curves right in. And the rest of us are like, what? And I sat there and I thought, I just took this class. I'm going to use this tool. I'm going to sit here in silence. I am not going to put my car in park. I am not going to put the e-lights on. I am not going to open my door. I'm not going to get out. I'm not going to walk up to the other car, and I'm not going to bang on somebody's window. So I sat there in silence and I meditated. Meditation comes in all different forms. For me, I just sat there, I took a couple deep breaths, released, and I said, I'm not going to get involved. And then a smile happened on my face. And I come into line, I order my drink, and then I call my daughter, Vanessa. I said, hey, Vanessa, guess what? She's like, what, you're in the Starbucks drive-thru? And I said, yes, I'm in the Starbucks drive-thru. I said, guess what happened next? She said, oh my goodness, somebody cut you off. And I said, yes. And I said, guess what happened next? She said, you didn't get out of the car aggressively and go try to attack them verbally. And I said, yes. And it feels so good. And she's like, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of you, Mom. And I was like, oh, that moment like makes me tear up every time I think of that moment. She was so proud of me, her mother, for implementing and applying tools in my life and for bringing peace to my heart and my spirit and my mind. I was like, I just started crying in that moment. She validated me. It happened in my favor this time. I implemented the tool. I felt so good. I had a smile on my face. I was crying happy tears at that point. And I was like, I can do this. I can use more and more tools to go out there and survive some of these bad things that happen in life, these trials and tribulations. And you start recognizing how angry you are over things that have happened to you that are traumatizing. And then you start realizing you're taking things out on other people. This had nothing to do with Starbucks. This had nothing to do with the guy that cut me off the first time or the second time. Had nothing to do with any of that. It had everything to do with the pain that was deep in my heart and my soul from the infidelity and the betrayal. And I started addressing them with these tools. Radical acceptance. And you can use this in your life for any situation. If you have road rage on the road, somebody cuts you off, let them do what they're going to do. Let them behave in the manner they're going to behave. You do not have to react in a bad way. You do not have to behave in a bad way, and you don't have to expend your energy to bring more and more chaos to your life. You want to bring yourself peace and calmness, and you cannot control other people's behaviors. You can control your own. So I know this is probably a short video, but I wanted to share that story because it is one of my pivotal moments in my life that helped me tremendously bring peace to my mind and my head and my heart so that I could think clearly, so that I could think logically instead of based on emotion, and I could problem solve, and I could let other people do crazy stuff, and I don't need to be in the mix, right? So thank you again for joining my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it. I hope this will allow you to apply this tool of radical acceptance in your life in some shape, form, or another. And if you do, please come back and share your story, and I'm going to be rooting you on the whole way. Thank you so much. And if you liked this, please subscribe to this video. Again, sorry, the camera that set up my first content video, it's not perfect, but who's perfect, right? And I thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a beautiful evening. I hope you're safe out there, make good decisions, and bring peace and calm to your life, however that may look, however that may feel, however, whatever tools you can bring into besides radical acceptance, meditating, whatever that may be. And if you guys, again, want to reach out by email, I believe my email is on this YouTube channel. You can do that and just request content or request additional stories. And I'm happy to oblige. Judge-free zone. It's a beautiful, safe place. We're going to do some healing together. I love you guys so much, and I will see you next Sunday. I hope to have a new video out with new content every Sunday. Love you guys. Have a good night.